Hi all, welcome to the Marquee Matchups for the 16th of January. Plenty to cover as always, 14 routes in all. A number of leagues are featured here with a number of routes, so 2 from on a few leagues and 1 in individual leagues. But we've got 2 spot on, we've got the Monaco game right and the Bayern game. We got the league right but not the teams. But Smash Links always sub to the channel if you're new. Follow me on Twitter at GSLegend. All links are down below for posting the channel and social media links. And check out everyone involved in the Predictions League. So first off is PSG Vs Lyon and Nantes vs Bordeaux. For me, PSG vs Lyon is the one I personally fancy. It's a big game in France, and with both teams, like Lyon's not pushing for the title, but PSG have still got to kind of keep the form going strong. I quite fancy it heavily. For me personally, I am looking at Ben Arthur, Rabiot, these kind of Mota, they're the kind of goals I would be looking in PSG, even Kimpembe. And then like Lyon, you've got like Marcelo, Raphael as a couple of the examples. But as long as you've got a 78, 79 rated squad at the highest, you'll be covered. And it's just a case of just peppering a number of the nationalities, number of the rares, and you'd be well and truly sorted towards completing, I would hope, this route if it was PSG versus Lyon or Nantes versus Bordeaux. 7 out of 10 for PSG and probably a 5, 6 for Nantes. And that Roma is the only Calcio A option of the week standing out. Big game between both. Inter's kind of went a little bit wayward in recent games. I think they've not won in the last 3. They've drawn like that. They've drawn the last couple, and Roma's just kind of drifted off a bit as well. When it looked like both teams were going to be up there challenging for the title before Christmas. This is a big game in terms of both wanting to challenge for the title, and I would say a 70 rated squad. I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. I quite fancy it heavily. And there are players like Eder, you would look at Candreva, you would then like Roma, you'd probably look at Karsdorp, Alisson, Schleck. But it's fairly straightforward, fairly cheap out in my opinion, and hopefully you'd be covered in terms of doing Inter versus Roma. But could I see it happening from another option? Not really. Inter Roma seems strongest. Then Leeds versus Millwall is a bit of a rivalry between them both. It's not as serious compared to say other games, but Leeds versus Millwall has been deemed a noted game for this week. For me personally, I'm looking at mostly the goals within the league. I feel it's hard to truly say where they could pin requirements down. They could make it bronze and silver based, it could make it gold based. It's hard to truly say. Depends what they want to really focus on in this particular route. I would say for both teams, like Jansen's a sound shout if it's you want to cover for a higher overall. But realistically, I'm giving it a 5 out of 10. I don't really fancy it. Then over to Belgium, you've got Lokeren versus Gent for a Flanders derby. This was an option just before Christmas, if I remember right, maybe even a little bit before then, and it didn't feature. But because of the whole like SBC theory and all this kind of thing, which we always talk about, and it's quite a big talking point, that the Pro League has a strong shout. Lokeren could have an option, and same for Lokeren Gent for the Pro League. Either way, the feeling would be 70 rated, I would say, as long as you're at least covered. There's not too many goals in the league, and you can pretty much build a healthy team out of the goals, but you wouldn't imagine they would try and bulk you up where they need you to expect all gold. I would say as long as you're 70 rated. And Cremonese versus Parma, for me, I can't 100% see this happening, but I quite fancy it as a kind of curveball-y route that they could easily throw in just due to how Parma's played this season. And also, there's a lot of top-of-the-table clash games in the Calcio B this week, so they could easily throw in a Calcio B option as a curveball, and it wouldn't surprise me that they do it. I know I've only got one rare in, but don't be surprised if you've got cover your back with a number of rares within the league. They're fairly cheap. You can buy plenty for 250, 300, and you'd be able to cover the requirements if need be. I would say as long as you're covered, you'll not find it too difficult to put together. But 5, 6 out of 10 in terms of likelihood, but see what they do. Of course, Ajax versus Feyenoord. I'm trying to remember if they did it the last time when Ajax and Feyenoord featured. I still fancy them to do a game in Holland because you've got the Sparta versus Excelsior game as well. I would say as long as you've got, I'm kind of going like the all goldish kind of route and a couple silvers. Don't be surprised if they throw in a curveball and go in the Sparta Excelsior route. But as long as you've got, as I say, quite a few rares in, I've got like Rashika's fairly cheap, Haps isn't too bad, Ramslar's not too bad either. Pact is kind of a sound goalkeeping choice. It's then just a case of meeting the requirements that I'm going as a guide, but obviously they could easily change them how they see fit. They've been mixing up as much as they can, and I'm giving it a 15k pack. I think they could give you a worthwhile reward. Then Scotland, there's 3 games. You've got 2 Scottish Cup ties, which is Hibernian and Hearts, and Motherwell and Hamilton. Now, they seem to not really fancied cup ties because there was a lot of cup ties for this week's marquee matchups, and they just went away from them. Partick versus Thistle versus Celtic is a league game, and it's a Glasgow derby. It's not the biggest of the derbies, but it's still one that they could throw in nonetheless. I'm going as my lesser of the options this week, like out of the smaller options, it's kind of one I fancy. SPFL could feature sooner or later, and with 3 games in Scotland, the hype might kick in a little bit in the league. So be prepared potentially for the SPFL if they were to do it. It would be fairly cheap as well to put together. I would imagine most people would have the league because they've been preparing the league even there. We get there in the end, but see what they do. It's going to be interesting to say the least. Then Mexico has 2 options in Puebla, Veracruz, and UNAM versus America. I would say UNAM versus America is the one I feel more stronger about. Which in that case, I would say I've got tons of goals in the league, and there's a decent amount to work with in the league as well. UNAM, you've got Diaz that used to play for Celtic Vigo. He's one of the centre mids, but it's one of these ones you could probably throw bronzes in as well as the silvers to bulk it up, and you'd find yourself not finding it too difficult to put together. As long as you've got all 4 teams covered, I would say you have it covered. Both are big derbies in Mexico, so if they were to do a Mexican option, both derbies might see a little bit of hype, but I know we've just had one fairly recent, so be prepared for that alternative. That and for that reason why they might not go Mexican, but I still fancy a Mexican option to happen. I've give UNAM America a 7, Puebla would be a 5 or a 6. And the last option of the week is Northampton versus MK Dons. Deemed a bit of a rivalry this. I can't remember it last year when I done marquee matchups when this featured, but I could be wrong. But Northampton and MK Dons, I would say, as long as you've got the players between MK Dons and Northampton, you're not going to find it too difficult. I've went with Chasm, and I think is it Goulburn, the left back. But I've got enough. I've got about 4 or 5 AFC. I keep going to say AFC Wimbledon players, sorry, MK Dons players, and I've got a few Northampton players. I've got like 2 or 3. So I'm covered on those bases nonetheless. But see what happens, of course. Time will tell. Hopefully find this useful. As always, guys, let me know what 4 you fancy. As I said, we're going PSG, we're going the Ajax, we're going Inter and UNAM America with the 2 spare options, maybe looking at Lokeren again and Partick versus Celtic. So smash likes as always, guys. Sub to the channel if you're new. Follow me on Twitter at GSLegend. Take it easy all. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you all later.